Hey everyone, welcome back. So today is Wednesday. Not much is going on with the miners today. Not a lot of news or anything interesting going on. So I thought today we would cover the miner versus miner, see which one is undervalued, which ones are overvalued in my opinion. We'll look at Bitcoin, we'll look at Bitcoin hash rate, we'll look at Ethereum hash rate, we'll look at Bitcoin profitability as well, fear and greed index, and so let's get into it right now. So let's take a look at Bitcoin right now. So here's Bitcoin. It obviously crossed the new day threshold. It is now at 50,773. So we had 3 days of green candles where we were up. We obviously finished out today basically in the red a little bit. We did have a nice wick here off of our support at 48,475. And then we came back here pretty much even on the day. From yesterday, we were down just a little bit on the day. Right now, we're up about, less than 0.5% or so, up $218 to, like I said, 50,744. RSI still looking good. Good thing is, obviously, we're above the 200-day moving average. And then, obviously, we wicked up off of our support, which is good to see. So let's take a look at Ethereum here. Ethereum had basically, yesterday was green, the day before was red, and then we had 2 prior green days. We did wick off of the 50-day moving average here on Ethereum today, which was good to see, and we're getting up higher, so that is also good to see. We're not too far off from our all-time high right now. We're only off by about, what are we off by? Roughly $420 or so that we're off from our all-time high here on Ethereum. So I think we can continue going up higher. We'll have to obviously see how the market plays out during the week and into next week. But right now, it looks like we're pretty good on that. So let's take a look at the blockchain hash rate right now. So total hash rate for Bitcoin right now has obviously increased. We're almost at the all-time high that we reached back here on April 14th of this year. We're at 198 million on the hash rate, and we wicked up to 190. So we're not that far off. Looks like a lot of miners are getting installed. Possibly the miners that were also in China have been getting moved over along the way. Obviously, we had a drop here to 58 million, which was obviously all of that from the China FUD. And ever since then, the Bitcoin hash rate has been increasing. So let's take a look at the Bitcoin profitability chart right now. We have seen, obviously, the hash rate going up, Bitcoin price going down. So we're seeing that the profitability on miners has come down. We are at right now at 0.275. So mining profitability right now is basically $0.281 per day per terahash. So we can kind of figure out what their possibility is of income for the miners here. So if we look at the Ethereum hash rate, we've also seen it continue to go up in the rate. Obviously, right now the Ethereum hash rate is at 902 terahash per second, and we've seen it increasing over the time here. And a lot of it is due with also kids having high-end computers and they're mining Ethereum on their downtime when they're not using computers. So we've seen that. We've also seen companies like Hut 8 install a large amount of GPU miners as well, which they convert over to Bitcoin. So that is obviously all contributing to the increase in hash rate. Now, if we look at the fear and greed index, today we finished out the day at 29. Yesterday we were at 28. On Monday we were at 25, and on Sunday we were at 26. So we were at all-time low on the fear and greed index here, which means people were extremely fearful, which typically, not typically, but for the most part signifies that it's a good time to start buying back in possibly. When we reach an all-time high, that's when you pretty much want to be cautious and be wary of the market. We may have a obviously downturn. People are getting too greedy at that moment. So we reached a greed index of 84 on November 9th. And if we look at the Bitcoin price here, so we can go back to November 9th. November 9th was right around here when we almost reached our high. We did reach our high here. Oh, that's Bitcoin. That's Ethereum. Let's take a look at Bitcoin here. So November 9th is when we pretty much were close to reaching our all-time high here of $69,000. And then ever since then, we've obviously come crashing down here. So something to be mindful of. And then we obviously reached our low here over the weekend, right around here, maximum fear index. And we've been kind of going back up in price. So that's good to see. All right, so let's take a look at the individual miners here really quick, how they performed today, and then we'll get into the analysis as I have it right now. So here's DMG. DMG is down for the day, just barely 0.11%. And then they are at 78 cents right now. And then we have, obviously, Riot. Riot is also no change in institutional investors right now. in them. So we'll keep an eye on it, see if there's anything that changes on that in the coming days, weeks. Last time it was reported on October 31st. Riot was down a little bit today. It ended up at 29.34. Obviously, everything's come down from their all-time highs, but it had a nice bounce here in the last couple of days, and it's been actually down today. So it's 29.34, down 1.15%. No news on institutional change either. Let's see if there's anything on analysts. Analysts are still pretty much the same here. Mawson has continued to go down in price. It's at 682 right now, reached a low at 675 here. Is it getting beat up a little bit too much? Possibly. The only thing is Mawson hasn't reported their October or November production update yet. I wonder if that's causing it to go down, whether there's something going on there or not. So we'll see if that ever comes out. But right now I don't have it, so it's not updated to November numbers for Mawson. Everybody else has provided their numbers. All right, let me see here. Nothing has changed here. Let's take a look at institutions. Hasn't changed. Anything is new. So Mara, let's take a look at Mara. Mara's had a nice 3-day run here. It is up 2% today to 46.64. And obviously it has that legal issue going on. They're going to have to deal with it. Ever since then, the price has obviously come down about almost 50% from the all-time high. Nothing new here on institutions. Let's take a look at Hut 8. Hut 8 has also bounced in the last 2 days. It's kind of flat today. It's only up 0.02%. Oh, that's after hours. In regular trading, it looks like it was down 9.95, 1% on the day. No changes in institutions here. Digihost finished the day down 2.3% at 461. It is almost, well, it was down to 50% from its high of $8 down to $3.82. No change in institutional changes here. Hive is at 331. It was up 2.48% on the day. It is obviously went all the way down here to its low here of approximately 268 from 560, so it was down 50% as well from its high. No change in institutions. Cleanspark had a nice 2-day rally here, finished out red today. It was down 2.58% to 1473, and it is also down about 50% from where it was for the high back in November 4th. And no change in institutions as well. Let's take a look at Bitfarms finally. And Bitfarms had a good day on Monday, red day on Tuesday, and was up a little bit today at 1.42% to 643. It is obviously down from its high as well, which was 527, which was about 45% or so down from its all-time high. And no change in institutional investors as well. So not much going on in the space right now, just kind of watching to see where things end up with Bitcoin price, the hash rate, and everything. All right, so here's the miner comparison file. We got the stock price of all the miners here, 643 for Bitfarms, Hive at 331, Hut 8 at 995, Marathon at 4664, Riot at 2934, Argo at 142, Digihost 461, Cleanspark 1473, Mawson 682, and DMG at 78 cents. Market cap is 1.2 billion for Bitfarms. Hive is 1.589 billion. Hut 8 is at 2.1. Marathon is at 4.7, almost 4.8. Riot is at 3.4. Argo is at 682 million. Digihost at 152 million. Cleanspark at 537 million. Mawson at 470 million. And DMG at 167 million. Based on the market cap, obviously Marathon is number 1. Riot is number 2, followed by Hut 8, and then Hive, and then we're looking at Bitfarms rounding that out. So here's the shares outstanding that we have for them. Here's where we have what the price to earnings multiple. So these shouldn't be dollar signs. These should be just regular numbers. We'll get that fixed later on. Here's what we have as far as the gross revenue projections for Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Obviously Q1, Q2, and Q3 are static. Q4 is the only one that's fluid right now and changing on us. Let me see here. This 2 we can hide for now. We don't need these columns here. So looking at the current, being conservative on it, going with a 50 and 75% discount from the estimated gross yearly revenue using a 20 price to earnings multiple. Here's where I'm looking at for Bitfarms right now. So we can get this close a little bit for you guys here. Bitfarms, we're looking, they should be at around 838 to 1270, 1257. Hive between 611 and 917, Hut 8 between 792 and 1188, Marathon between 1517 and 2276, Riot at 1694 and 2542, Argo at 211 and 317, Digihost at 929 and 1394, Cleanspark between 1986 and 2979, and then obviously 546 for Mawson and 819, and for DMG 116 and 174. So based on these numbers, we can see that Bitfarms, in my opinion, is undervalued right now. So is Hive by quite a bit. Hut 8 is pretty well valued at the 50%, but undervalued at the 75%, which I think most of these miners should fall under the 75% category here, because they are mining right around 80 to 85. Some of them are 88% net revenue, just if you take into account the electricity and things like that. Who else is undervalued here? Marathon is obviously overvalued in my opinion. Obviously, it has a lot higher multiple per earnings ratio. So does Riot. Argo, obviously 211 here. It's a 142, so that's, in my opinion, undervalued. So is Digihost. Cleanspark right now as well. Mawson is pretty well valued right now to undervalued at the 75%, and DMG is undervalued completely. So this is where the prices are for 100,000 Bitcoin. This is where I see them at 50% and then 75% here. And then we got 150,000 for 50% here and 75% here. And then we're looking at 200,000. So Bitcoin reaches 200,000, which I doubt is going to reach now at this part of the year. We're almost, a quarter of the way through December. So if we reach the 200,000, probably won't be until probably in mid-quarter of Q1 of 2022. So we got Bitfarms at 1613 to 2419, and then Hive from 1027 to 1541, Hut 8 from 1514 to 2272, Marathon. Let's see if we can get this over here closer so I can see what I'm doing here. Between 3487 and 5230, Riot between 3602 and 5403, Argo between 406 and 609, Digihost between 1851 and 2776, Cleanspark between 4661 and 6991, Mawson between 1289 and 1934, and DMG between 290 and 435. So this here is the estimated percentage gain if they were to be realized, how I have them set up as far as what they should be valued at 20 price to earnings multiple. So we can see that obviously these guys here are overvalued right now at 50%. And then you got same thing with here. So these are the only two. Marathon and Riot are the only ones that are overvalued in 75% right now based on what I'm looking at here as far as what their hash rate is and everything else. Obviously, Digihost is the one that's the most undervalued here, followed by probably Hive. If you look at it this way, Hive, and then you got Argo, and then DMG probably right now. So, excuse me. So if we look at the 200,000 range, obviously there's an upside potential for Digi of 502,000. I wish that was the case. 502%. DMG at 456%, and Hive at 365%, looking at it this way. And then, as always, the BTC Huddle, we have the BTC Huddle last reported this week. We got Bitfarms at 2,973 Bitcoins being held. Hive at 1,584, but they do also hold like right around 25,154 Ethereum coins, valued at 4,407, gives them an Ethereum HODL value of 110 million and a Bitcoin value of 80 million. Combined, it's 190 million. Hut 8 also mines Ethereum, but they also converted directly into BTC. So they got 5,242 BTC in HODL, Marathon at 7,649, Riot at 4,464, Argo at 2,317, Digihost at 571, and Cleanspark at 848. Mawson and DMG, I have not seen any numbers on them. I think Mawson uses all of their Bitcoins to fund operations and things like that. So if we're looking at the HODL value, obviously the winner is Marathon, followed by Hut 8, then Riot, then Hive, and then we would go to probably Bitfarms and Argo, and then these guys down here on the bottom. So if we look at the BTC per share, this is how much BTC you're getting basically per each share of the company stock. And then if we look at the share per BTC value, they are obviously at 79%. This is somehow wrong, I think. There should be a different value. Sure, I gotta look into this. I've been having problems with this Excel sheet today, and I'll explain later on. I'll have to take a look at this again. But the huddle to market cap is 12%, 12%, 13, 8, 7, 17, 21, and 8. Market cap to huddle ratio is 8, 8.3, 8, 12, 3, 8, 15, 1, 6, 5, 8, 3, 485, and 1254. And that is just basically how many, what's their value go into their market share price. So that's the ratio for that one. So a lot of information, obviously. Looks like right now, that the way I'm looking at things, the Digihost is the most undervalued, followed by DMG at the current moment, and followed by Hive and Argo, and Cleanspark's up there really too. So I mean, you got quite a few guys that are well undervalued, in my opinion, at least. As always, you guys, not financial advice. This is for entertainment only. Do your own research. Don't fall for scams, obviously. And spam posts obviously get reported and deleted. So I just want to provide you guys with all this information. And I started recording this about 3 hours earlier. And while I was recording, I noticed that there was a problem with the numbers coming up for Hive. I tried to fix them. What happened was, as I fixed the formula, hit enter, the cell would go blank. I could not figure out why it's doing it, and it's still doing it. I copied the information over to a different sheet, basically, and it is still doing it. So I got to investigate a little bit more why it's doing that. It shouldn't be doing that, but I may just move everything over into Apple numbers and see if I can work from there, because this is driving me nuts right now. Things should be working, but they're not. And I wonder if it's just because I have too much information in there, too many links going back through different cells and things like that. I don't know if that's causing havoc or not. But the information is, I would say, with 98% certainly accurate in there right now. I did a bunch of research for the past 3 hours trying to figure everything else out. The only thing that doesn't make sense to me was the one part of it, which was the share to BTC value. That seems to be off. I'll have to look into that. But other than that, everything else should be good. And then hopefully we'll get this all resolved for the next one, which is coming up probably in the next month. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. A lot of information, obviously. We'll see what's going on tomorrow with Bitcoin, obviously Ethereum, and the hash rate. We'll see if there's any news from the miners. I would like to see if maybe Mawson provides some numbers for November. Other than that, we'll leave it where it's at. I got a lot of work to do on this. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe. Helps me out a lot. And then hit the notification bell as well. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great evening. This is going to be a late post. I apologize for that. I had a problem here in Excel. I'm trying to figure it all out. So have a great evening, everyone. I'll see you guys tomorrow probably. Have a great one.